Sometimes we give into the food craving. Sometimes it's easier to go ahead and have a snack than to crash out and implode. And through this video, I hope to give you a couple alternatives to what could be very sabotaging behavior. If you're new to me or to this channel, my name is Coach B. I'm a Christian transformation coach. I help women of God elevate in their callings using biblical truth, mindset, as well as wellness. And I'm going to unpack multiple ways in which nutrition has helped um, me when I'm having a food craving and I don't quite have the willpower to not eat. In fact, I want to start with that. There are some of us that have perfection built into our mindsets. And so we use so much willpower to bear fruits of the spirit at work, in relationship, in our households, and in ministry. And then when you're left with yourself at the end of the day, it can feel almost impossible to not overindulge with your favorite treats because that's how you desire to fill your cup. What I want you to do, if that's something you struggle with, is go through some of this content and figure out how to allow the Lord to refill you. Because what happens is food won't fill the voids you're looking to fill. Now, one of my favorite things to eat is pizza. And I'm going to give you a couple options if that's also your favorite dinner or meal when your tank is empty. One is you can go ahead and grab the pizza and eat it in community so you're less likely to overindulge. And as you do that, do something like drink fiber in a beverage. There are supplements that you can purchase that are just jars of fiber. And so if you drink fiber as you eat the pizza, that can help you with not having as much of a spike in your blood sugar. It also will help with better digestion because a lot of times the flour in the pizza, it has been stripped of a lot of nutritious value and it has a bunch of sugar in it. You could also pair this pizza with stuff like a very green leafy salad with protein like chicken or salmon, fish, something like that on top. This also helps with digestion and it also breaks down the amount of room you have in your stomach to eat or overindulge in pizza. Another option would be going for a almond flour or thin crust pizza and prioritizing adding protein to it. And lastly, if you make the pizza at home and you make the crust at home, choosing healthier alternatives, this allows you to create portions. This allows you to make it more of an individual pizza and potentially not overindulge. Another thing that many of us in America enjoy is like burgers and fries, right? And so a healthier alternative for this could be using things like lettuce or making your own little pita or wraps at home for the bread on the pizza. Also using ground turkey, very lean ground turkey as opposed to regular beef or lean beef if you want to have beef at home. And making sure that you load that thing up with just lettuce, vegetables, bell peppers, such as lettuce, tomatoes, onions, whatever you enjoy, mushrooms, so on and so forth. That will help with it being more of a salad effect. In fact, something that could also meet this need is turning the burger into a salad. So having a bed of lettuce and all of the toppings you like to put on top of your burgers, and then having, your ground meat instead of cooked as a burger, but just ground up, sauteed, and laying that on top. And as far as the fries go, maybe portioning your fries if you are doing frozen fries, making sure that you only get one serving, maybe two at the max, as opposed to going out to the restaurant where they overload you with fries. Another option could be cutting up a potato and seasoning it to your liking and roasting the French fries in something like coconut oil. This is still, higher in fat, but it's a lot less processed and you get to control what you ingest. And it also could help you with portion sizes because you're cooking it at home. So that way you can have your burger salad and fries, and it will meet the desire of the craving. Another thing that we typically enjoy having, and we think that it will put us in a caloric deficit, is salad. But journey mates, I want you to be mindful of what you're putting on on top of the salad, because sometimes your salad could be 700 to 1100 calories without you realizing it. When you prioritize things like a very cruciferous vegetable, I'm thinking about a kale mixed in with some spinach and arugula, that's a great base for the salad. For your salad dressings, you want something that is lower in calories and lower in sugar. Skinny Gal and G Hughes, they have pretty good lower calorie options for dressings. But if you're going towards your blue cheese, your ranch, your Thousand Island, these things are very high in calories, fats, salts, and sugars, and it will add on a lot for you. Adding on things like cheese will also add on a lot of calories. And listen, there is a need for natural fat, so I'm not saying be obsessive and cut it out altogether. I'm just saying being mindful, because you can think that because you had a salad with cheese, eggs, bacon, chicken, or salmon, that you're in this great caloric deficit, but you just loaded that thing up with a bunch of kind of unnecessary fats and unnecessary calories. So going back to the baseline, one, salads don't have to look like a base of lettuce, but it's great for it too, because it will feel up to density in your stomach. Always have a source of protein with it, and cook it to your liking, but it's best to have your meat grilled or baked, because you're more likely to use less grease in that format, as opposed to putting breading batter and frying it. And just enjoy it. Don't restrict yourself when it comes to the vegetables you ingest, but be mindful about the extra fat through salad dressings and cheeses that you add on. And it's cool to add eggs or bacon. Just be mindful. Don't be overindulgent. Maybe only 2 strips of turkey bacon, as opposed to just mindlessly adding in bacon bits. You remember those bacon bits from back in the day? We used to add on the loaded potatoes, and I think some people still add on the salads. And as far as adding croutons, that's not really necessary. If you want a grain with your salad, try doing a half a cup of brown rice or couscous, something like that. Maybe even quinoa. Um, Another thing that will help you is just prioritizing vegetables and fruit as a snack. Again, you're having this craving, you might want something crunchy. Maybe having your cucumber that has been soaked in apple cider vinegar with seasonings is a better alternative to just mindlessly eating a bag of potato chips. Maybe trying to eat something like celery with hummus or guacamole, as opposed to tortilla chips and salsa, will be a better alternative. And I know for some of you, this is a stretch. So let's say you really like crunchy. Okay, well, let's find a more whole grain version of a crunchy chip. Maybe prioritizing things like protein potato chips will be more beneficial for you. Or, I like popcorners and sun chips as well, but let's be honest, these things are still pretty processed, and their caloric range is very similar to the traditional potato chips. So there's that. It does break down in your body a bit better though. So if you're not going to go without and you're just bent on feeding this craving, try those substitutions instead. And also, if you're going for a pretty high carb treat, let's get the fiber in and let's see how we could add protein. Some simple ways is, right now, clear protein is really easy to come by. You don't have to just get it on TikTok shop. So if there is a flavor of protein powder that you could just add into a water to turn into a juice, and you could eat that as you indulge in the chips, there you go. If not that, well, maybe you could add fiber into your water and eat that with the chips. That'll be better, because again, we want to keep your blood sugar from spiking. We also want to help you feel fast sooner so that you don't overindulge and just eat. And lastly, journey mates, this isn't necessarily a nutrition tip, but it is a wellness tip. There is grace and mercy. Sometimes when you go and you give into a craving, you could feel the absolute worst, right? And I like to look at it the same way as any other aspect of the gospel of Jesus Christ. God is for the addicts, He's for those that struggle with different barriers of addiction. And he does not require perfection if you are getting free from alcoholism. He also doesn't require perfection if you're getting free from any other form of substance abuse. Food is no different. Um, do not allow yourself to go to that place where, because you are eating the chips, or because you did get the pizza, or because you did overindulge, you stop praying, you stop communing with the Father, you run from him, because that is where shame, guilt, and condemnation will come in. And those have been the darkest seasons of my life. And I've seen clients struggle with it as well and have so much shame they couldn't confess it to me for a long time, where you go to this secret place and you just eat and you eat and you eat, and then you come out and you feel horrible. And guess what? To cope with that horrific shame, you go eat and eat and eat. And it is a self-perpetuating cycle. And the enemy will feed you with this condemnation of, you're never going to get free from this, and you're unworthy, and you're this, and you're that, and you're that, and you're this. And it's all lies, because we are more than conquerors in Christ Jesus. But the thing is you cannot flee from him. You have to run to him, even with the filthy rags of, hey, I was just gluttonous and I overindulged. So I invite you into my heart and my life to not just help me stop the cycle, but help me face what's at the root of this cycle. Why do I have to have the chips? Why must I run to the pizza? Why can't I process emotion without needing some type of numbing agent? And how do I do this in you? All right, so if I haven't mentioned this already, I have resources down below, from coaching to a meal plan toolkit to even you sewing into this ministry. If it has been a blessing to you and you want to keep videos like this coming out, check them out. If you haven't already, share this video with a sister in Christ you know will benefit from it. And I'll see you in the next video.